Hey there, Skullheads. I'm Snags.
And I'm old Silky.
And I'm Alan.
Beetle Bailey is back.
And I'm like the neighbor that won't go home, right? Or something like
You
that.
like that guy that you like Stephen Wright in Half Baked, the guy on
That's
the
right.
couch.
Just I am on the couch. I'm on the couch.
I think there's only
Oh,
one
All
other
right. So old
guest that's
Silky
been on
dropped
longer
off.
is
His
wow. Just like that.
Lafarge, but
notoriously fucked up internet
I'm not
connection. So
sure.
but we're gonna keep talking. He's already heard my Starbucks story.
Okay.
So while old Silky's logging back in, Uh, and when he gets back on, he'll bitch about the platform. That's usually what happens. Um, so I'm at Starbucks yesterday, uh, near where I work, and I'm sitting out on the patio, and uh, I and you know, pretty intense day at work, so I'm decompressing. I'm relishing my 1 hour of just being alone, decompressing. I'm reading a book right now, Last Train to Memphis, great Elvis biography, and, just wanna decompress, sip
Mhm.
my coffee, and read my Elvis biography. Well, there's a bus stop nearby, and this sketchy looking dude from the bus stop comes over and sits on the patio, and I can sense that he's looking at me, and I'm not looking up, and my blood pressure's already going up a little bit, and then I hear this, "Hey, man, can I ask you a question?" And I'm just thinking, "Fuck, god
Oh,
damn it."
this is
It's
this is the character from your film with the guy that doses the other guy, right?
Yeah, yeah, similar, yeah, yeah. Um, Obscure, deep, reference that nobody out there will ever get because my films will not be made public. But anyways, Alan's used to score short films for me back in the day, so, old Silky's coming back on, so he may be bitching about the platform, but I'm gonna keep telling the story, um, so this guy goes, "Hey, man, can I ask you a question?" And I'm like, "Ugh, here we go." And so I look up, I'm like, "Yeah, what?" And he goes, "In the absence of gauze, what would you recommend for an open wound?" I'm like, "What?" "I don't know, man. Paper towel?"
Paper towel. That's what I was thinking.
"Yeah." And he goes, "Well, that's what I got on there now, but it's seeping through and sticking to my shirt."
Oh my god.
And then I'm just like, just, you know, don't know what the hell to say to that. And then he goes, "Yeah, just got stabbed." Just got stabbed.
I hate it when that happens.
And so
Yeah.
and
How about a walk-in
and
clinic, you
and
know?
it must have been the way I was looking at him, but
Jeez.
"Oh, well, I don't mean to gross you out or anything,
After
bus'll be here soon, I'll be out of your hair." And at that point, I was like, "Actually, I gotta go, man. It's nice meeting you." And I just, halfway through my lunch hour, I just gather my shit and get my before I get stabbed, because tell
Yeah.
Silky, tell the Stephen King story. This is how it could have ended. Tell
Oh, yeah, 'cause, so there's a Stephen King short story. I didn't know he was gonna, ask me that. I'd have had it ready, with the title, but, it's a short story that, this old man's sitting in a park, and this guy comes up and sits next to him and basically says, "Hey, I'm, I'm in this 12-step program, and I'm doing these, confessions, and if you just hear my confession, I'll give you some money," and the guy's like, "I don't," he's, "No, no, no, it'll just take a minute," and guy's like, "All right, but if I cut you off in 5 minutes, I'm not interested." So the guy proceeds to tell him this story about how he enjoys hurting people, and, at the end of his story, he stabs the old man and walks away, basically. But it's that kind of, just a very quick, short, very disturbing, story,
And that's all
you
because he
know?
didn't abruptly get up and say, "Hey, man, I gotta go. Nice meeting you," like I
Yeah.
did, "Get the fuck out of there," you know?
My God.
Right.
So,
Wow.
Yeah, you could have
yeah,
died.
yeah. Anyways, there you have it. So, Alan's the note meister for this episode. Silky's got some notes too, but Beetle Bailey, why don't you kick off the Saturday morning cartoons episode of the Snags and Silky podcast?
Episode
I
123.
think this is 124, man. I'll find out for sure, but oh, wait, hold on. Let's just get that settled before we start. I got them right here. Right. Yeah, you're right. I'm wrong. I'm an idiot. Go ahead. Episode 123. Alan.
Yes, thank you guys again. It's great to be back, discussing, this stuff, and this came to me a few months ago. I remember I was watching, something on YouTube, something came up in my feed. It was a old Bugs Bunny classic. I was like, "Oh my god," I watched it, and then it, clicked into my head, Saturday mornings, that was the thing, and I'm like, "Oh, that's a good topic for Snacks and Silky." So, yeah,
Mhm.
so I appreciate you guys, having this one. A huge part of my childhood. I mean, forget it, Saturday mornings where you were locked in. You got up, you ate your cereal, whatever. You were parked in front of the TV, which you had to get up and change the channel, with the knob at the time. And
Yeah,
it may have
Yeah.
been a black and white TV. They actually made black and white TV. Oh, there he goes again. He
that's
is
fine.
he,
His whatever internet Silky has at his house is like it's a
totally
wind up rubber band contraption.
okay.
And when the rubber band's done, he's the only one who constantly drops off.
That is
But
crazy.
yeah,
Crazy.
he'll be now he should definitely be ranting about it when he comes back on. He was
Okay.
surprisingly calm the first time.
Right.
Anyways,
Anyway,
keep talking.
yeah, so you would, park yourself in front of your TV, which may or may not be in color, might have been black and white. Um, but I just remember that being, you didn't have to go to school. It was such a happy day,
Yeah.
you know? Um, and you got entertained. And your parent, "Oh, hello, hello again."
Hey, I fucking hate this platform.
I predicted you were gonna be ranting
Jesus
about it.
Christ. I'm done ranting, but fuck.
It's weird that you're the only one who constantly drops off and somehow it's the
Well, it's
platform's
just
fault.
weird in my life that I'm the only one that gets fucked continually. So,
Anyways,
go
so
ahead, man.
as you were saying about you wake up,
You wake
you
up.
don't have to go to school, you
Yeah.
wake up a little later
Oh,
than,
exactly.
than
Yep.
you used to, and you got this wide open panorama of awesome entertainment in front of you until noon, basically.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
it was also like the summer vacation all crammed into one day,
yeah.
is the beauty of it.
The biggest problem you faced was maybe you liked 2 shows that were on at the same time
Yeah.
on different networks, and
Yeah, and I'll
and
comment on that when you're ready. Go ahead.
okay. But, it was just, that was how you spent every Saturday morning, and your parents were probably too happy to have you, just sitting there, not bothering them.
I think most of our parents were sleeping in, hungover, or fucking.
Right.
That's my take.
Or in my case, they might have been out getting stoned
Yeah.
or tripping on LSD.
Well,
But
Mhm.
anyways.
yeah. No, my parents were doing the they were doing something, I don't know, it wasn't any of those things, I'm sure.
I'm sure Saturday morning cartoon time was a very popular fuck time for parents.
Oh, man, maybe I'm wrong, maybe they were
We gotta put a disclaimer on this episode, this is not for children to listen
no,
to.
this is not
Anyway,
Are any of our episodes?
I always check that, yes, there's explicit language all the
Yeah.
time whenever I
okay.
upload it, because there always fucking is. But anyways, go ahead, Alan.
Um, yeah, and it was kinda like watching a whole bunch of opening bands, and then at 11 o'clock, Bugs Bunny would come on, or 10 o'clock, whatever time, he was the headliner. Bugs Bunny, I think you said, yeah,
Yeah.
the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner hour before they
Yeah.
canceled the Roadrunner,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, so, yeah, Bugs Bunny was everything for me.
And the way what I did is I would watch Bugs Bunny religiously, and then at like 9 o'clock, I'd kick it over to watch Dungeons and Dragons or Thundar, and then when that was over, back to Bugs Bunny. Um, and you juggled the TV guide and jumping up to change the channels, and
Right. The TV guide, right? Do people know what the TV guide was?
right? Maybe not.
Right. Right, you actually had to open up like a small periodical, like a magazine, or
Yeah.
we had a local one that came with the paper.
Yeah, and what was cool is the paper would literally have like a collage of cartoon Saturday morning, and you could literally look at just this one picture and be like, "Oh, I got to see that. I got to," and that's how you knew what was coming up.
I was always Super Friends was a big one. But
Super
Yeah,
do you remember Marvin and Wendy? The
yeah,
little
they
goofballs?
started it. They were the first, and then out of nowhere, one Saturday morning, they were gone,
Yeah,
and it's the
but they were
damn
like
Wonder
the
Twins.
super the super oh, yeah, then you had the Wonder Twin powers, I forgot
Yes,
about
yeah.
that, yeah.
Yeah, but Marvin and Wendy were just 2, hippie kids, bell
Yeah,
bottoms and
you had all these Super Friends was like all-star DC Comics, all of those superheroes at the Hall of Justice, and it was
the
their
Hall of Justice.
yeah, it was, it was their version of the, whatever the fucking Marvel one is, I forget what they called, that they did the movies of. What's the Marvel supergroup?
The Avengers?
The
Avengers,
Avengers, right.
yes.
So,
Yeah.
it
It
was
was their Justice League,
the
DC
D
Justice
D
League.
the DC, well, they were called the Justice League, yeah.
Yeah.
The DC one was called the Justice League, and, but the show was called Super Friends, and then they'd throw in these whack ball characters that weren't from the comics. I don't know, I guess so the kids could relate, Marvin and Wendy,
Yeah,
and then
Marvin and Wendy.
the Wonder Twins or
And they
whatever.
had Wonder Mutt, which was, Scooby Doo's, cousin or some shit.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. It's all
Scooby Doo was another one.
Hanna-Barbera.
Yeah.
Um,
Fucking Jabberjaw, that was another
oh,
good one.
I love that one. The Bugs Bunny show, I wanted to just give a brief history on it. Uh, Between 1948 and 1969, Looney Tunes and Merry Melodies released these, cartoons that were at the beginning of movies, and so once the show originally debuted as a primetime half hour in 1960, and they would show, 3 Looney Tune cartoons, and then after 2 seasons, it moved to Saturday mornings, and it ran, for 4 decades
Bugs
un
Bunny Roadrunner Hour.
Right,
until,
right.
until they decided that violence on TV, cartoon animals were getting, maimed too badly. Now at this point, we were much older, but we saw how fucking retarded that was.
Right,
Yeah,
That,
yeah,
Elmer Fudd shooting Daffy's beak off, as horrible as that was, it's a cartoon,
yeah,
you know?
crazy.
So,
oh my god.
so they were successful. These, Tipper Gore types were
Yeah,
successful in getting that yanked off, the air.
Well, they ended up making, I remember seeing this later, I think in the '90s, they had a baby Warner Brothers baby, characters, so they're like the small children of Daffy Duck and the
yeah, yeah,
child of
yeah,
Bugs Bunny,
right.
and,
Yeah.
that was probably the sanitized, politically correct version with, no no freedom of expression and
Right,
no
and,
creativity. All that stuff they like when they
and
get political.
Mel Blanc's son was doing a lot of the voices for those,
Yeah.
I forget what that one was called, but, uh
Yeah. It's like baby melodies or
Maybe,
something, I
yeah,
forget.
something.
yeah, it was a real shame,
Yeah. But
but
yeah,
yeah,
the
just
OG
crazy to think this ran, 4 decades,
Yeah.
yeah.
We
That
every
O
Saturday.
that OG shit was the best.
we grew up in what AI calls the golden age
Yeah,
between the '60s and '80s.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, it really was,
I
now I wanted to ask Alan, do you remember this In the News thing? It would come on CBS?
no, I do not.
So you'd be watching your cartoons innocently enough, and all of a sudden the CBS eye would duplicate across the screen and go in like a circle, and it would make this noise, and it was called In the News, and it would be they were like 2-minute televised segments that would summarize topical news stories geared towards children and preteens, and that ran from 71 almost up to 86 between Saturday morning, cartoon programs. And then you also had Schoolhouse Rock,
Yeah.
and One to Grow On was another thing that, would come out to try and, engage kids on things.
Well, Schoolhouse Rock, I remember, and, that wasn't horror. That's how I learned how a bill becomes a law, you know,
Exactly.
right?
Which nobody understands. Nobody in our age group gets educated on that stuff now. How a bill becomes a law, you go out and you burn down shit and demand stuff.
Right,
That's that's
right.
how bill
Yeah,
becomes a
or you
law
shut
now.
the government down for 50 fucking
Well
days,
Yeah.
well,
and
they he
certain
did
people still don't get a paycheck.
yeah, Schoolhouse Rock didn't cover grips, grafts, bribes, all that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah, all that yeah, that's really how a bill becomes a law.
Right.
But,
Right. No, I liked Schoolhouse Rock though when they would, do um, how the British are coming and all that
Yeah,
stuff. Those were great.
sure. Right.
Um, but, yeah, so In the
I'm
News,
just
and then, just a brief thing on the cereals. You had, Captain Crunch, Corn Pops, Apple Jacks, Super Sugar Crisp. You guys remember Fruit Brute?
Sure. I
It's like a big werewolf,
yeah, yeah,
dude. Honeycombs, Crazy Cow, Cocoa Krispies, Tricks, Sugar Smacks, and my favorite was Cookie Crisp. Um, I had hippie parents, so there was basically air and maybe Doritos in a back corner somewhere. Uh, the concept that kids could pour chocolate chip cookies into a bowl and pour milk on it as a cereal, I just blew me away.
yeah, that seems like cheating to me. It
Yeah,
really
I was like, "Oh my god, you gotta be shitting me." Um, so you'd go over to your buddy's house and they had all these cereals, and you were just like, "This is fantastic." Uh, but at my house, there was rarely anything. So, but anyway, um, then
so
we had Hanna-Barbera. Did you,
Alan, you got any did you have, like, some specific, stuff you wanted to get into from your notes? I know you had some
Yeah,
extensive notes.
there's a couple of things. I don't know if you guys remember. This was in the late '70s, right after the '76 Olympics, I believe. I think that fall season, they started this thing called the Laugh Olympics.
Yeah, I
yes,
remember the Laugh
and the
Right,
Olympics.
Wacky Races and
right.
Laugh Olympics.
And they would do, they would have like a relay race or whatever, and the bad guy would win, but then
Yeah.
they would go back and look at an instant replay
Yes.
and then and
Fantastic.
disqualify him. Like, they were ahead of the NFL in that
Yeah.
regard,
Yeah.
this
With the
cartoon.
replay?
Did they pay the refs off to fix the games so they could rig the betting market?
Yeah, it was like Wide World of Sports, but cartoon. You
Oh, it
had
was
the he was like a Pink Panther, but he wasn't. and he would always say exit stage left,
Yeah,
and
yeah, he was a mountain lion.
yeah,
Exit, stage left.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, and Smedley and Snidely Whiplash
yeah.
and
Yeah. Well,
Penelope somebody.
that stuff
Penelope
was
Pit
great.
Stop.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, the, uh, the opening to the Bugs Bunny Roadrunner, right, show, Seinfeld does it in one of his episodes, right? When they're waiting to go into the opera, he
Oh
does
yeah,
the
Overture. Yeah.
overture.
Yeah.
Da, 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 right?
Yeah, it's great stuff.
It's like,
For
I
what
made a
heights will
playlist.
hit?
yeah,
On
yeah,
with the show. This is it.
yeah, he does a
I
great
sent you
version of
guys a playlist with all that in there.
it. Yeah. Right? And
And it
then
was really our introduction to classical music.
Yeah,
sure.
Silky just mentioned he made a killer cartoon playlist. It's got the Hong Kong Phooey theme, which I'm sure we're gonna talk about Hong Kong Phooey tonight, and a bunch
Great
of other
stuff.
stuff. Great who's who of cartoon land
I
on that
started it,
playlist.
yeah, yeah, I was listening. It's great.
Um,
But I remember now Thanksgiving is next week, which reminded me, Thanksgiving morning was basically another Saturday
yeah,
for cartoons. It was they just ran a full length, it was like it was Saturday morning, but only it was, Thursday.
on
So you
Thursday.
got 2 that week.
Do,
Wow.
I just
do you
remember that
guys
that was a
do you
bonus.
guys you guys remember Ricky Tikki Tavi? It
Oh
wasn't
yeah,
the
that
mongoose. It wasn't
yeah,
a
and the King
Saturday morning.
Cobra that
Yeah,
came every year
yeah,
uh,
around Thanksgiving, I think.
around Thanksgiving. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
That
but
does
that was
sound
at
familiar,
night.
yeah,
It was
right,
a mongoose, yeah, and a cobra kind of story. It
Yeah,
was interesting.
so
Yeah.
it's like this family raises a baby mongoose like a pet squirrel, and they're in India, and the king cobras come in, and the mongoose saves the children, something like that.
Yeah.
right. So basically at this point, I can't think of any other, Saturday morning cartoons to talk about, but
Well, I
there
got a ton. You want me to
but
run off a list?
oh, yeah, yeah, I mean,
Well,
I
before
got
you
a
do
giant
that,
list of
I know. Hang
shit we
on.
got to talk about.
Yeah, before you do that, I wanted to mention that a huge part of Saturday morning was Hanna Barbera's lineup, and these guys they created Tom and Jerry, William Hanna and Joseph Barbera, and then they were former MGM cartoon employees, and then they started their own thing out in LA in the 50s, and they created the Flintstones, Scooby Doo, Yogi Bear. Um, I got a couple more here. The Wacky Races, which we mentioned, the Jetsons.
the Jets
Um,
see, yeah, my point was I've got plenty more cartoons, but they just weren't
yeah.
on Saturday mornings, you
Oh,
know?
No.
I got a ton that were on Saturday mornings. Plus, the live action shows that were on Saturday mornings that we
Right,
haven't
that was
even
my
gotten
next
into
step,
yet.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
But
Yeah.
I mean, the Harlem Globetrotters was on
Yeah,
Saturday mornings.
nice,
Yeah.
yes.
Three Stooges cartoon was on Saturday mornings. Hong
Fat
Kong Phooey,
Fat
Pla-
Albert.
Fat Albert,
Mhm.
Planet of the. I just texted you guys a list, but
Oh,
Planet of the Apes cartoon.
yep.
Uh, in the '90s, there was a great X-Men cartoon
Yeah. Yeah.
that was on. In my 20s, I actually got hooked on that. I would wake up on Saturday mornings just to watch that.
Yeah,
Plus, they had a
I can remember Sunday mornings getting up and watching, um, Ren and Stimpy,
yeah. Oh yeah, yeah.
but,
Um, Captain
yeah,
Caveman,
Captain Caveman, Johnny Quest, Top Cat,
Scooby
uh,
Doo,
Scooby Doo, those were just
Star Trek,
phenomenal,
Star Trek
and there was
cartoon with that weird fucking looking alien on in the crew. Remember that? Had there was instead of there's a weird alien in the crew in the Star Trek cartoon that
well, yeah,
what yeah,
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 yeah, Star Trek was, early '70s, but,
yeah.
now I mentioned quite a few in the 3rd installment of the Poetry Corner, but, whenever you guys wanna do that, um,
Let's get to
get
that
that
a
out of the
little bit
way.
later, but
Oh, okay.
let's talk about the live action stuff right now. Go ahead, Alan.
So, yeah, my live action, favorite was Land of the Lost.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
Sid and Marty Krofft.
Yeah,
that ruled.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition, right? And they go over this bathtub, faucet, like, waterfall thing, right?
Yeah.
You could
Woo!
tell. I mean, the effects are so cheesy in this in that thing, but, um, yeah, and they wind up, back in the prehistoric age with dinosaurs roaming
And
around,
the
Yeah,
sleece and the
and the
slee
the
stacks.
flea
and
stacks,
Chaka,
and
Yeah.
the, uh,
I just
the little
so
cave boy.
right,
The movie reboot of that was so fucking funny with Will
Oh, yeah.
Ferrell.
Yeah,
Oh,
Will
you
Ferrell.
gotta watch it. Chaka's, like, ripping him off. He's being all condescending to Chaka, like, "I'm a human, I'm gonna help you," and Chaka's, like, picking his pocket and,
Yeah,
it's fucking
it's pretty good.
hilarious. He gets shit out by a dinosaur at the end, like, eaten by a dinosaur, and
Well, I
it
think, the one thing that I think you find funny is they're on the raft in the water, and uh, Marshall and Holly are like, "Oh my god." Well, there's a giant, like, mosquito on his back, and it puts a welt like the size of a basketball, you know?
yeah.
It's, oh,
That Will Ferrell movie version is
alright,
it's
yeah,
hilarious.
we'll definitely watch that then, yeah,
You
yeah.
got to,
um,
That's definitely a stoner movie for sure.
no, sure.
for sure. I may have to do that combination this
Yeah.
weekend, yeah.
Yes, yeah, exactly, you'll fire that up,
Yeah.
but my best friend lived across a street from me, and then the street was more like a 4-lane, kinda highway thing. It was tough to convince my mom that I could cross the street by myself. But once
Right.
once I could, we would go to his house after, like, we had seen Land of the Lost in each other's, respective houses, and he had this kinda dirt mound, like, wilderness behind his house that's now a McDonald's,
Oh,
and
wow.
yeah, and it had a hill where we could, like, ride our sleds down the snow in the winter and stuff, but it was all kinda wild brush and stuff, and we called it the Land of the Lost, and we would
That's
play,
cool.
we would imagine dinosaurs roaming around and having our own
Sure.
little adventures kinda thing, so that's my Land of the Lost story.
That's cool, though. Uh, we would, uh we would, in between all these cartoons and religiously getting up in the morning and doing that, um, we would go play Vietnam out in the woods, with not dart guns, but squirt guns and BB guns and shit, and you'd reenact shows you saw on TV, Combat or Hogan's Heroes, things like that. Um, but that was another part of Saturday was hooking up after all the cartoons and who was around, who was home. Maybe somebody's on a family day and gone, and you ride over to your buddy's house and they're not there, and you're like, oh man, you know. Um, but the
I'm not
adventures we got into, you know
I'm not recommending this, disclaimer, but we would play run out in front of cars. So, go go out in the street and run across the street in front of oncoming cars and see who could come the closest to getting hit without getting hit.
Now, see, my mother used to tell me when I pissed her off that she would say, "Go play in traffic,"
Right.
but I
We literally did.
but I never did. Yeah.
Yeah.
We played dead by the side of the road, and cars would screech to stop. "Oh my god, what's wrong with us?" And then we get
Oh,
up laughing and run
I
away.
I
Just
got if I may go on a tangent with that story, that, you just reminded me, oh my god, I don't I was preteen, maybe 11, 12. I did not grow up with the cream of the crop as far as kids went, we were all delinquents, and, we would throw snowballs at cars, right?
Oh, yeah.
oh, yeah.
and we
Water
had
balloons
this
down here, but yeah.
yeah, we had this spot, and we had a leader, and he would basically say yay or nay whether to throw the snowball or not. You know, if the car was going slow, you never threw the snowball, right?
Ugh.
So, you know, we see a car coming, he just says, "No, no, no, hold up, hold up." Well, you know, there's always one in the crowd, right?
Yeah, we're throwing.
Whack, you know, so
Yeah,
car slams on the brakes, we all scatter, right?
yeah,
The guy turned around, came into our development and, you know, circled around and stuff. You know, luckily we all made it into all of our houses before the
yeah,
night. But
right.
you know, my heart was never racing. But we were all you know, I think we took it out on the kid that did it though later
Sure.
on, you know,
Well,
"The
the
hell are
thing
you
is
doing?"
you don't know who that guy is. I mean, God forbid one of you got caught and
Yeah,
disappeared and never seen again. You know, you don't know.
Jesus, yeah,
You know,
yeah,
you
Yeah,
just don't know.
yeah, I'll
my
never forget that one.
friend of mine and I were walking down the street one summer day, you know, during summer break, and dribbling a basketball, kind of passing it back and forth and dribbling it. And this guy comes riding by on a 10 speed, and we just casually roll the basketball up under his wheels and make him wreck. It's like, what the hell? And he grabbed us both and walked us back to our house and knocked on the door, and nobody
Oh,
was,
wow.
the parents weren't there. So he was just kind of frustrated and pissed off, and he left. But just the stupid shit you would do when
Yeah,
your brain is underdeveloped. It's amazing.
Yes.
that's fucked up.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
But, as far as the live action shows go, do you guys remember Shazam and ISIS?
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
Yeah.
There was like some dude had like a little metal box, and every once in a while it would show a cartoon.
I don't remember that. Was
It
that in
was right
Shazam?
around Shazam and ISIS thing. The
I don't
guy's name
remember.
was Jason, but I don't know what the hell show it was.
I
Yeah,
just
I don't
remember Isis putting her wrists together, right?
Mhm.
Or something like
yeah.
that, and
Yeah, and it's
yeah,
funny to this day when somebody says ISIS, that's what I think of,
that's what I think of
Yeah,
exactly.
yeah,
you
not
know?
not the terrorist, the
No,
deadly terrorist
not at
organization,
all.
but the female superhero
Yeah.
who
Yeah,
was,
and she was basically a an Egyptian Wonder Woman, you know?
yeah, yeah, it was like Vinnie Vincent, but, a woman superhero instead of a lame guitar player for Kiss. So,
Yeah,
there's your Kiss reference.
yeah. Oh, terrifying.
Um, but yeah, so, you know, Shazam was the comic book character, and I think Isis was just made up for the TV show. I don't think she was she a comic book character? I don't think so.
I don't know, I mean, she could have been a historical thing.
Well,
Um,
yeah, I'm sure it's
the
rooted in history, but as far as
the,
the ISIS superhero, I never heard of her before or after that TV show.
yeah, I don't know.
Shazam is a iconic, you know,
The better
super.
Kiss reference is that Hanna-Barbera also did the, Kiss Meets the Phantom.
They did,
Yes.
and, what was it like, whose lines, Peter or Ace, a lot of their lines had to be overdubbed, and
Yeah,
it's
Peters is all Casey Kasem, who did the voice for Shaggy.
Well, that's
yeah,
right.
so
Yeah.
Peter sounds like Shaggy from Scooby Doo in that movie because
Yeah,
they just redubbed his lines because
and yeah, they just had Casey Kasem do all the lines.
yeah. But that's a total that movie, Kiss Meets the Phantom, is basically a Scooby Doo episode. You
Oh,
got the
100%.
amusement park, you got the
Yep,
mad scientist, you got
yep,
all the elements,
yeah,
you know?
totally.
You know, there's a couple of cartoons we didn't I wanted to mention.
We got a whole list of them to go
Yeah,
through, yeah.
and this was not a Saturday morning one. This was actually on where I lived, in the morning before I went to school. Popeye was
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
on,
yeah,
Popeye, yeah.
and I saw, you know, in preparation for this episode, I put on some Popeye episodes, and I'm watching, and then it occurred to me at the end of every episode, he reminds you to eat your spinach while smoking a corncob pipe.
yes,
I lo
Yes.
Have you ever
that is
seen the real life guy that Popeye's based on?
I don't think so. Is a real
Google it.
life guy.
Yeah, Max
No.
Fleischer or whoever came up with that character based it on a real guy that he knew from this pub who was a sailor, and if you search it, real life Popeye in Google Images, you'll see an old black and looks just fucking like him.
Yeah, he
It's
was
Nice.
all
crazy.
squinty-eyed, uh, you know,
Big John, he's got a corn cob pipe. I mean, the guy was a real
hilarious.
guy. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
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 So my mornings, I would get up and watch like um the Great Space Coaster, which was like a
Oh, yeah.
kiddie thing.
I remember
And
that.
but after that, Three Stooges, Little Rascals,
Hmm.
and
Yep.
uh Popeye and Betty Boop. That would all be on. Um, it was hard to leave to go to the school bus because
Oh,
that shit was on, you know.
right? Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and
You know,
Felix the cat, that was all, in there with Betty Boop.
Those Felix the Cat cartoons were psychedelic, man. That was
Yeah,
some
they were trippy as
wild,
hell.
trippy those
Oh, yeah.
cats were on some serious hashish when they were
Oh,
making that stuff.
absolutely. He had his little bag of tricks and was
Yeah.
running from the bald professor.
Felix the Cat, the
Yeah,
wonderful, wonderful cat.
great shit, dude.
Yeah. There was a Garfield cartoon in the 80s. You had, Smurfs cartoon.
Smurfs. There was
Yeah.
I want to say a Ralph Bakshi Batman in the early 80s.
Hmm, I don't remember
Or
that one.
maybe not Ralph Bakshi, but somebody who did um, other cartoons, but did Batman, and it was a really cool early 80s Batman.
Hmm,
hmm.
interesting, I don't remember that one.
Well,
I
Yeah.
do remember we gotta mention, even though it wasn't Saturday mornings, when we were growing up, more usually after school, fucking Spider-Man.
yeah, yeah.
That
Well, yeah, no,
cartoon rocked.
that cartoon rocked, and that was a Saturday morning cartoon in '67.
Right, and then well,
Right,
when we're growing up, it's on after
Yeah, it was.
school or
yeah.
Yeah,
Spider-Man,
yeah.
Spider-Man does whatever a
The
spider can,
Ramones do a
spins
great
his web
cover of that.
any size, catches thieves just like flies.
There you
Look
go. That's
out! Here
Here
comes a
comes the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man.
that's
That's my version.
uncanny how much that sounds like the original
It
theme.
sounds just like it. Yeah. That's
Crazy.
but that was one of the best cartoon adaptations of a comic book
It
that's
it
ever been
really was.
done.
Oh,
When
sure.
that came on, you just shut down. You're like, "Okay, nobody move. Spider-Man's on," you know?
Yeah. J. Jonah
Spider-Man.
Jameson and all those
Yeah,
cats.
yeah.
Yeah.
Good
And
one,
then
yeah.
in high school, after school cartoons was, Inspector Gadget was one that was really cool.
Oh, yeah. That
Uh,
was a good one.
yeah, another one that wasn't a Saturday morning one that I loved was Johnny Quest.
Yes,
You know what I mean? If you remember
that
that
was
one.
what now where was that wasn't Saturday morning ever?
Not in my memory, it was always some other, you know, maybe it was. Yeah, for some reason, I don't place it
Mm.
Saturday morning.
Now it's interesting you bring that up. You had people like in Maryland, you had Captain Chesapeake who would show cartoons. He would come on like any of these, I'm trying to think like Elvira or one of those. They would come on and then they would show stuff and then they would come back to them in a studio kind of thing. And that's how I saw Johnny Quest.
Okay, okay.
But that was after school, like you said, but,
Yeah, but the last Saturday morning, and it's not a cartoon, but Saturday morning TV show when I was in college, we would never miss an episode. Pee-wee's Playhouse.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
Classic. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
You
yeah, that
know,
shit was golden.
Andy and I think we probably mentioned this in the Kaufman episode, but he had Andy's Funhouse, which was, the community
yeah,
TV show he
yeah.
used to do, and Paul Rubens I'm reading a book, a autobiography by Michael Richards, AKA Kramer, right now, and he went to Cal Arts, with Paul Rubens and, Lorraine Newman. He had a comedy duo, him and Ed Begley Jr. were a comedy team for a while. All these people knew each other back then, and
Yeah,
Paul
yeah.
Rubens actually asked Andy Kaufman, "Hey, I wanna do something like Andy's Funhouse. I'm gonna call it Pee-wee's Playhouse. Do you mind?" Before Andy faked his death or died or whatever
Right,
happened.
right.
And, Andy gave him permission, so that was directly based on
Wow. Yeah.
Andy's Funhouse. But, uh, let's talk about Hong Kong Phooey a little bit, but before we do, I gotta sing the Hong Kong Phooey theme song because it's just
Oh,
I mean, that has to happen. Alright, so here it goes. It would open up and be like, "Who is this superhero? Sarge? No. Rosemary, the telephone operator? No. Penry, the mild-mannered janitor? Could be. Hong Kong Fury, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fury, quicker than the human eye. He's got style, a groovy style, and a car that just won't stop. When the going gets rough, he's super stuff with a Hong Kong Fury chop. Hiya! Hong Kong Fury, number one super guy. Hong Kong Fury, quicker than the human eye. Something like that. Anyways, totally based
wow.
on like Shaft blaxploitation theme song,
Well,
Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey was a canine locksmith who secretly moonlights as a martial arts master.
He was a janitor,
Yeah.
n not a locksmith, he was a janitor.
No, but he would on well, that's what the,
He had a
that's
lot
what
of
the,
keys on him.
Yeah,
that's what the thing about it says, so
yeah, but his job was janitor. I mean, maybe he could pick locks, but yeah.
I don't
But
know.
anyways, yeah,
And then
he
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 had a
was
cat. He had a cat too.
yeah.
Seemed like the cat always, saved his bacon.
It
I
was
don't
basically a cross between Bruce Lee and Shaft if they were a janitor and a dog.
Mhm.
So this is in the '70s. You got to realize people were just really fucking high back then. And so the
Totally.
ideas they came up with were wild.
Yeah, and, Catman Crothers was the voice.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
that's right.
Scatman Crothers.
Oh,
Catman Crothers,
man.
yeah.
Yes. Nice.
Yep. Great
Good
show,
stuff.
Hong Kong Food. That's way overdue for a reboot, man. You could have Crispin
Totally.
Glover playing Hong Kong Phooey, the live action version.
Uh-huh.
That'd be
Well,
perfect.
the another one would be, Captain Caveman,
Oh yeah,
'cause
classic.
that you would sit in the house dead quiet watching, and every time that he "Captain Caveman," you would yell with the TV,
I'm
and
sure the parents loved that.
inevitably you would hear, "God damn it," "Shut the hell up," and he'd be like, "Ugh," but, it every every fucking Saturday, Alan. Captain Caveman!
Yeah. He was
Was hell.
kind of he's a yeah, kind of reminds me of the Tasmanian Devil,
Totally.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
very similar. Yeah.
Another favorite.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Um, and then, if you go back to, the Bugs Bunny stuff, you had, uh, Wile E. Coyote,
Well, yeah, yeah.
who,
Yeah. Should
a lot of people don't know, but Wile E. Coyote, collected, he was an art collector and a vegan, and did all of his own stunts all through those,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he
yeah,
was, yeah.
one of the
He had a mild coke habit too, but he
yeah.
never let it get out of hand.
Well, but,
Never.
just like Evil Knievel, he did all of his own stunts, and I know in his later years, I'm sure it was pretty rough for him,
Yeah.
He's the
but,
first
He
victim of cancellation, I believe,
yeah,
right?
I think
all the
so.
all the violence and stuff in
Yeah.
those
Yeah,
cartoons. Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly.
Those I loved that those were my favorite Warner Brothers cartoons was the Roadrunner and
Right.
Wile E. Coyote.
And
He's always building these elaborate
Yeah,
contraptions to trap the Roadrunner, and it would always
yeah.
backfire on him. It's
You
fucking
had that
hilarious.
you had that and, uh, him and, the sheepdog.
Yeah, the
when they would
sheepdogs that would
steal the
check
sheep.
into work every morning.
Yeah,
Yeah. He would just slowly sneak through and grab some big fat ass sheep, and Sam would be right there to just beat the brakes off,
Uh,
and it was so good. I
yeah,
would be crying watching that shit.
right. Yeah,
and,
it
Elm but yeah, just the funny and they'd go through all that intense stuff, and then they just casually walk over and check out at the time clock.
Clock out, alright, see
See
you
you
tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
no, yes, that was absolute yeah, I mean, in your field, punching in the face, call it violence, call it whatever you want. Did that inspire either one of you to go out and beat up
never,
anybody or paint
never,
fake tunnels on rocks and
I
make,
never.
I ran out in middle of traffic under my own volition.
right?
It had nothing to do with cartoons.
Right, yeah, and, but, and then some of the other ones, you had the, giant, baby, kangaroo that Sylvester thought was a big mouse,
Oh, right.
and,
Oh, yeah,
the baby
Sylvester and
kangaroo.
Tweety Bird.
And he gets his
Yeah,
Oh,
ass
hold
kicked.
on a second.
He gets
Hold
his
on,
ass
I'll be right back.
yeah, the baby kangaroo would just beat the shit out of him.
should have.
It was so good, and then his dad, Sylvester's son is like, "Dad," you know, um,
I
and then, of course,
um,
Yosemite Sam was one of my favorites
well,
too.
thank you. I was just about to say my very favorite Looney Tunes cartoon of all time is a Yosemite Sam and Bugs Bunny. What? What was that?
I got my Tweety Bird toy here, which is so old you can't really hear what he says anymore, but you pull the string and he's saying something, but it's
It
illegible.
sounded dirty to me.
Mm.
Yeah, I heard, "Go
I
fuck
heard I
yourself."
heard fuck cock or something.
Yeah,
Probably is exactly what he's saying. Hold on.
yeah.
Something about a
Booty
pootie
tot.
pot.
Booty tot.
I wanna rub
I'm
you,
sh
lick you, lovin'. What?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think it's
Jesus.
saying prop it up, I'll fuck it.
Uh-huh.
But, this I'm sure sounded a lot more clear back in the '60s. This is like
Yeah,
an old school, real old
that's
Tweety Bird.
nice. That is very
That's
nice.
Yeah.
great, man.
I'm sure I could probably retire if I sell this on eBay.
Sure. I'd buy
Yeah.
it
Yeah. I know
if
you
I ever
would.
get a paycheck.
You buy everything. Yeah.
If I ever get a paycheck.
Uh, my favorite cartoon of all time, I could watch it, on a loop forever is, it's called Rabbits and Caruso, and it's basically Yosemite Sam is Robinson Crusoe. He's all
Okay.
alone on an island, and all he has to eat is coconuts, and he's losing his mind because
Yeah.
because all he's ever eaten is
Yeah,
coconuts,
I remember.
right? And and he's got this, shark that's tormenting him,
Yes.
every time. And Bugs Bunny, shows up out of nowhere and just he tries to, cook him in a pot and Bugs Bunny, puts out the fire with the water from the pot. It's
Yeah.
like, don't you realize matches is scarce on this island? He has to go to the boat, and try to not to get eaten by the shark. And he runs up the tree, the shark chases him up the tree because it's a cartoon, and he has to beat him down with a sledgehammer,
Mhm.
you know? It's just, it's my favorite for whatever reason.
That's a great
I
one.
just
Yosemite
love it.
Sam was awesome.
I like, the one of my favorites is, Elmer Fudd is on a, or no, it's Porky Pig on a little horse, and he's got Daffy Duck, and they go into it's basically a play on Shane, and they go into the saloon, and you have this massive, huge guy, cowboy outlaw, and uh, they're drinking, sarsaparilla or whatever, and every time Daffy takes a drink, it just like slays him, and it's like a big muscle bound dude, just like the character Jack Palance in Shane.
Jane, yeah, right.
But
It was
that's a
always
good one.
funny
Right.
when someone would, like, shoot at them with a shotgun, a buckshot, and they'd be like, "Ah, you missed me," and then they'd chug down a drink and the drink would spout out through all these
Water
holes in
shooting
their
that,
body, you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
phenomenal.
See, that's humor. That's
Yeah.
not violence, that's humor.
Well, yeah, and obviously, like, Kill the Wabbit and
Kill the
shit like that.
Wabbit. Yeah, the Wagner opera. Kill
What's
the
what's
The
Opera
opera.
Doc?
Wabbit.
Right.
What's Opera
Yeah,
Doc? Just these
classic.
great, or when Daffy Duck's Robin Hood and he jumps off the tree and sails down and slams into the next one, and it's like zoinks and away, smack, and and he's got to cut all the trees down so he can, and
Right.
then he slams into a rock at the end.
If
Um,
if you watch.
Nothing ever, nothing like those.
Rabbit
If
season, duck
if
season.
you
Yeah,
watch those Warner Brothers cartoons, the writing is on 2 levels. There's one to, amuse the kids, but there's all these inside jokes that only the adults would
Oh, yeah.
get,
yeah,
you know?
Yep.
oh
It's
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, even in the Tom and Jerry cartoons, where you had the old woman is the housekeeper, and she's beating the shit out of the cat for chasing
With the
the
broom,
mouse.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Some
yeah.
of those Tom and Jerry
Just
cartoons, especially the ones in the late '60s with the avant-garde jazz soundtracks,
yeah. Chuck Jones took
yeah.
over, and those are like bizarre.
Acid trips, man, those are acid
Yeah,
trips.
yeah.
Yeah.
And those are on a separate, DVD. I got all
Oh,
those.
nice. Yeah.
They're they're just worth
Uh-huh.
having. They're great.
Yeah. Now I I I don't know. I kinda, lost interest whenever, in cartoons. They weren't such a big part of my life until I had my first child, and then I was introduced to this character named SpongeBob.
Oh, yeah.
He is fantastic. That
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we
Yeah,
I may have watched SpongeBob more than my children. That
that's funny.
Yeah.
I would say my son's vocal, styling is somewhere after, um, Plankton, and, I mean, just last night, I go to pick him up, and, they had a thing at the school, um like, they want the kids, I'm sorry, they want the parents there to discuss stuff, so we all go, and meanwhile, the kids are off in a separate room, and it's pretty much over, so I go to get him, and I go to where the kids are, and somebody opens the door, and I'm like, "Hey, Miles, I'm here," and he stands up and he says, um, "Till tomorrow, brothers," and just all dramatic and shit, and you're like, "What the hell is going on over there?" But he's just very, dramatic with his, announcements.
What
So,
did you guys
That's
think
true.
of the Planet of the Apes cartoon?
those are great. I wish they'd done more, just like the Star Trek cartoon. I just wish that had had more of a budget it could they between the 2 of those, they could have done a lot of stories that may have, gone further along in the '70s. Um, you know
I can't offer much. I don't remember enough of that
yeah.
one.
The, there was a live action, like a 2-season thing of Planet of the Apes with, 2 guys, basically kinda like the same concept as The Incredible Hulk. They would breeze into town, a small village, uh, help somebody with a problem, and they were always, one step ahead of the apes that were tracking them down. Similar to The Incredible Hulk, where Bill Bixby goes around and helps people, and he's always on the run. Uh, but the cartoon was better because it was more like apes and more like the movies, and the Godzilla cartoon was awesome too, but silly because there's like a big ship that goes around and they got a baby Godzilla who's always getting into trouble, and then the big Godzilla
Yeah, they always try to have
randomly.
some kitty character for us to relate to, and as kids, the
Yeah,
most interesting characters were like the original I intellectual property, the Godzilla monster or whatever, we didn't need the little
yeah.
sidekick character.
No,
You never needed
no.
Scrappy Doo. What the hell was
I hated Scrappy
you
Doo,
didn't need that.
and there was one Saturday morning you turned Scooby Doo on. What the fuck? Here's Scrappy
Yeah.
Doo.
What's
Even
Uh,
cartoons can jump the shark.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, you had the Globetrotters cartoon, which was great, and then you got Shmoo, this ghost thing that nobody knew what the hell it was. I was annoyed the shit
That
about.
dude used to keep all that, he'd always reach into his afro and pull out a telephone or whatever. He always stored
Mhm.
stuff in
Yeah.
his afro. That was
Yeah, those were
yeah.
great. God, those were great cartoons.
This is one I know Silky doesn't remember it. I don't know if Beetle Bailey remembers it or not, but I loved it. It was called Run, Joe, Run. And basically,
Yeah,
this
no idea.
army guy, he had gotten out of the army and he had this German Shepherd dog that he loved, and the dog ran away. And the dog was like Rin Tin Tin. It was always saving children from burning houses and, uh, the
Lassie or
hero of the
somebody.
day, right? And so the dog would go into a town and save a child from a burning house or, go get help when somebody was in a car wreck or whatever. And the guy who was trying to find his lost dog, he would always show up in that town right after the dog had left. Has anybody seen a
Oh,
dog? His name was Joe, and dog.
it's a
No,
cartoon
it's a
or
live
live action?
action. His
Okay,
dog tag says Joe, and he's German. Yeah, he was just here. He saved a family of 8 from some narco terrorists or whatever. And
right.
and every episode he would just miss the dog. So I actually had a German Shepherd that we named Joe because of that show. This is a good one.
Run, Joe,
Yeah, it was a
run.
Saturday morning live action show. What?
That's
Yeah,
nuts.
it was a good one.
I have to look for
Yeah.
that.
And then, just to on the live action front, just to run off, we don't have to talk about them in detail, but you had Sigmund and the Sea Monsters, Sid and Marty Krofft,
Yeah, that was
Banana
great.
Splits, 1 banana,
HR
2
Puffin
banana, 3
stuff.
banana, 4
Yeah.
puffin stuff, The Electric Company, "Hey, you
Yeah,
guys,"
yeah. There was also a show called Kids Are People Too, which was like a
which
talk
we already
show,
knew,
but
so
they
that was redundant.
right.
Yeah.
But they would have, Eric Estrada on there because Chips was huge. Maybe that was a '80s
Didn't
thing.
Kiss go on there when Eric Carr became the drummer?
Yeah,
Yeah, when they were
yeah,
marketing
yeah,
to kids at that point. Which is yeah,
yeah, yeah, that was Kids Are People Too
yeah,
was, bizarrely I watched that thing religiously, and I usually did not like if it wasn't a cartoon, I didn't
yeah.
really wanna watch it. Although,
Yeah.
we watched, The Lone Ranger, a lot of that shit was on Saturday mornings, um, different channels, I think actually Sundays had, like a kung fu theater and wrestling was on Sun so I loved the TV on the weekends.
A few more cartoons just to give them shout outs. Josie and the Pussy Cats, um, Magilla Gorilla, let's see.
He couldn't wait to do that.
See what else there's anything else that didn't get the Jetsons,
Yeah, I
yeah,
mentioned the Jetsons, and the Jetsons were amazing. I don't know how many seasons that ran, but it was basically a space age version of um,
Flintstones, yeah,
Flintstones.
yeah,
Flintstones.
Yeah.
Uh, we all kind of grew up knowing that when you asked for a raise, you were going to get fired. Um, with Mr. Slate and the Jetsons boss. I can't remember his
yeah.
name, but
And if you wanted to speed up in your car, you had to, run your feet on the ground underneath.
oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And a good looking girl is a Betty. I mean, these are all just fundamental
Yeah,
facts. Yeah, yeah,
exactly. And, George Jetson's daughter was pretty hot,
yeah,
though.
yeah. After she turned 18.
I
Yeah,
don't yeah, well, obvious
yeah.
of course.
So, I don't know. We got anything else? I mean, we're running up on an hour here.
I I have a stupid story,
Oh, oh, and we got a
that
poetry
involves
corner
a
too. But let's do your stupid story first.
let's go ahead, yeah, poetry corner.
Oh, you want to do that? Okay. So this is number three, Poetry Corner with old Silky. This one's called "Oh, What Heights We'll Hit." Sunlight bright across a poster's edge, jumping from the beds. Is it seven? Is it eight? Seven would still be time to catch the Fantastic Four. Slowly descend the stairs, avoiding the steps that creak. Cannot wake mother, or there'll be some chore bullshit to do. Pull the TV knob and cringe as the static seems to split the silence as if beating on a trash can. Time for timer, a hanker for a hunk of, a slabber slice a chunk of, a hanker for a hunk of cheese. Sadly, it's 8, but that's still great. It's Saturday. Overture, light the lights. Bugs Bunny Roadrunner Show, Planet of the Apes, Johnny Quest. Grab the milk and the Kellogg's Corn Flakes. They're great. Thundar the Barbarian, Hong Kong Phooey, Scooby Doo Mysteries. This is our time. No distractions. Sylvester chasing Tweety, Daffy exploding, Captain Caveman. Space Ghost and Dino Boys, Sid and Marty Croft, Land of the Lost, Sigmund and the Sea Monsters. Kids Are People too. The Hair Bear Bunch, Valley of the Dinosaurs, the Herculoids. Never a more pure and happy time. But oh, what heights we'll hit. Spider-Man, Tarzan, Batman, Super Friends, Wacky Races. Those were halcyon days. Cartoons were only on Saturdays, and we were starved for them. It was a different time. On with the show. This is it. There you
Groovy,
go.
man, groovy,
So that's
groovy.
number three.
Bravo.
Thank you, sir.
Dig it, dig
Nice.
it. So we are
Um,
posting
Yeah.
Silky's poems on our X account now. So if you want to read that, check out Snags and Old Silky at Snags and Old Silky on X, and you'll get to read it.
there you go. And maybe when we've got a bunch of them, we'll
Yeah,
put it on Amazon for
we'll put a book together. Um,
a poetry book.
you said you had a stupid story, Beetle Bailey. What do you got?
Stupid story is it does involve a cartoon. This is, let's see, September or August, late August of 1984, and I'm just getting into college. I'm a freshman in college, like the first day of college, and that night, Yes played here at Saratoga Springs. There's an amphitheater, um, and Yes had a concert. I went to the concert, and there's this alleyway where you could get drugs, you just walk through this alleyway, in the park and, or whatever you want. And my friend and I got blotter acid,
Oh
Nice.
shit!
so my first experience doing that. And the opening band for Yeah was a Bugs Bunny cartoon.
That's awesome.
So we're tripping. And
Oh fuck!
all of a sudden this curtain opens, da 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 da.
Da-da-da-da.
We
That's
I'm like, "This
fantastic.
can't be real. This cannot be real."
That's awesome. That's a perfect
It
image
was
to
Oh, love
conclude
it.
the episode.
Love
Watching
Yeah.
it.
Bugs Bunny on acid before hearing Owner of a Lonely Heart.
That's funny.
It was great. Yeah, I think it was the rabbit season, duck season
Nice.
Oh my
episode.
god.
Yeah, with Elmer Fudd. It had to be. It had to be that one.
Yeah,
That's what I remember, yeah. Ugh.
that's fantastic. I mean, them arguing like that. You also go back to when Bugs Bunny was a vampire, and he would go abracadabra, or no, Bugs Bunny wasn't the vampire. He was dealing with Dracula, and hocus pocus, and he would turn back in, and he'd say abracadabra, and the rock would fall on the bat. Oh, that was great. Abracapocus.
Fantastic.
Oh my god.
Bugs Bunny, I'm telling you, yeah, he just that's it. He rules
Oh, he
all.
was the chairman of the board for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, and he totally we talked about all these other cartoons, but that we kept coming back to the Bugs Bunny stuff. It really just dominated Saturday morning.
right.
They were the
Yeah,
best. And they're still out there.
they
You
were.
can find them on
Absolutely.
YouTube and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
What's this? Tell us about this documentary on cartoons that you emailed me the link to it, right, Alan?
Yeah, it's basically just called Saturday Morning Cartoons. It's on YouTube. I did send the link
Okay.
to your email.
So it's a documentary
Um,
about Saturday morning cartoons.
right, and what I love, um, the part that sticks in my mind was they showed an early episode of the Flintstones in black and white, which was aired on prime time, brought to you by Winston Cigarettes.
And they're smoking cigarettes.
And they're doing a commercial. They're doing a lot, Fred and Barney are laying
Nice.
while their wives are doing the house chores,
Yeah.
they're
Well,
kicking back
they know what's good for them.
they're kicking
Enjoy
back behind a rock, smoking
enjoying a
smoking
That's
cigarette while
Winston.
the wives are washing the dishes. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's great.
That's
Oh, yeah.
good
But
With the dinosaur under the sink eating
yeah.
everything.
Trash compactor.
it's
Yeah.
exactly yes. So, yeah, it's a short but good
Yeah,
documentary,
we'll
you
post
know?
that one on the Click Pit.
Yeah,
Um, Go back and find some of this stuff we were talking about and watch it. If you haven't seen it, you won't be disappointed. So
Yeah, I'm gonna look for Run Joe Run. I'm sure it's gonna be terrible,
yeah,
but
it was an
and
interesting one.
and I have to watch Land of the Lost, the movie
You have
version with
to. That's
Will yeah.
fucking hysterical.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
good
is.
shit.
All right, everybody. We got more shit coming up. We've got shows planned all the way through March. I don't know how we do it, but we come up with these ideas.
Nice.
Anyways,
Right
all
on.
right, everybody.
All right.
Peace out.
Deuces.
Bye-bye.